Recording, but this is the part of the lasagna where I'm just layering everything. So I have a little bit of sauce in here, tomato sauce underneath the noodles, and then on top of the first layer of noodles, I'm just spreading that around. I've preheated the oven to 375, which is what the box says to do. I just have my tomato sauce, my shredded chicken, and then my cheese mixture, which is just ricotta, mozzarella, and Parmesan. So I'm going to start by putting out a little bit of shredded chicken, half of the shredded chicken that I have, on this layer. So I'm just going to nicely kind of just plop that down a little bit, spread it out nicely, and then I'm going to take my cheese mixture and just put a little bit down until I use about a third of it, maybe a little bit less, so that I have plenty for the next 2 layers. Because the way I like to make my lasagna is 2 layers of chicken, 3 layers of cheese, and 3 layers of noodle in all. So I'm just going to kind of spread that around a little bit with my fingers so that it's nicely spread out. Get it to the edges, make sure there's no area missing anything, and also that there aren't super thick sections and really thin sections. And then I'm just going to take my spoon and sort of just flatten all that out so that it's laying nicely, and so that I can see where I need to put more of my cheese mixture. So like here, I need a little bit more just to kind of cover up some more of that chicken. Maybe down on this end a little bit, especially in the front I didn't get enough. So it's kind of just about like seeing where you need more and less about exact measurements. So then I'm going to go in with my next layer of noodles, just very carefully only touching the noodles that I'm going to use for my layers. So I accidentally got 4 here, but that'll be alright. So then I'm just going to put these noodles down. Put this one to the side where it's not touching the countertop. Got a little plate over there. And then I'm going to put down some more sauce. Now since I only have 1 more layer, I want to make sure I'm using most of this sauce, about half of what I have left on this layer here, so that I know everything is nicely covered. I'm just going to move these over a little bit so that there's noodles on everywhere, every part of the lasagna. And then I'm just going to spread that around nicely. Make sure to get to both of the edges. Maybe spoon out a little bit more here for this side. Just nicely spread that out. Then I'm going to take some more of this cheese mixture. Oops, whoops, that's the wrong step. I'm actually going to take my chicken and then put that around, spread it out nicely so that there's like an even amount of chicken everywhere. And then that's looking good to me, so then I'm going to take my cheese and just nicely spread it out. And this time I'm going to be using about half of what I have here, since I used the rest of, since I'm using the rest of it on the next layer. Don't want too much of this left over, because then you just have a really thick cheese layer on the top. I'm just going to make sure to cover this side completely. putting cheese everywhere that I can see red for the most part, with some spaces here and there, just so that I make sure when I spread it out and squish it down a little bit that it's touching all those spots that need cheese in them. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit more on this side. And just kind of even that all out. Then I'm going to take my last 3 noodles and lay them out on this lasagna. And I'm going to layer on the last bit of this tomato sauce, making sure to get as much of it out. That means the oven is ready, so I can put this in as soon as I'm done layering. So just spreading that sauce out. Make sure everything's squished together nicely. Taking that last bit of cheese, sprinkling it all over the top there. Just making sure it's spread nicely, evenly. There we go, squishing that all down. Making sure I get that cheese out to the edges while not having it smushed up to the sides too much, because we don't want the edges to burn. That would not be so much fun. So I'm keeping it pretty close, but not too close. I'm just going to take the very last of that cheese so that we're not wasting any of it, and putting it just in the areas that have an excess of tomato sauce. Go over in this corner and right up there. Now I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Let's get all that cheese off. Then I'm going to take some Parmesan and sprinkle this all over the top of my lasagna. Just putting a nice even coat everywhere. So we get a nice crispy, kind of crunchy sort of top. I don't know. I like it with the extra texture of the Parmesan on top. Now I'm just going to take some Reynolds wrap and cover this lasagna, because for the first part of it, it has to be covered. It's supposed to be covered. So I'm just going to kind of push it up a little bit in the middle so that it's not touching too much of the lasagna, so it won't stick too much. And I'm just going to take that, wrap it around those edges pretty lightly. It doesn't need to be on super tight. And I'm going to throw this in the oven for, how long does this box say? 70 minutes, so an hour and 10 minutes. So, yeah, thanks.